starting to get a bit exhausted. It's already been a long trip. You can see my clothes are pretty dirty. I'm starting to get a bit ragged. I spent the morning putting away recovery gear and tools, so I kind of hope I haven't jinxed myself. I don't want to have to get them out again if I don't have to. On this episode of The Road Chose Me, I'm tackling Canada's most famous four-wheel drive trail, the Whipsaw. People often ask what kind of wheeling I'm into, and they're always a bit surprised by my reply. I didn't come into this overlanding thing from a four-wheel drive background, and so I've never been the kind of guy who goes out on the weekend and tries to drive over the biggest rock or through the deepest mud pile. The simple fact is, I actually don't enjoy wheeling. I enjoy travelling. I enjoy going to remote places, seeing beautiful things and discovering new destinations. When I go internationally, it's all about the cultures and the other things that I find along the way. The fantastic food, learning the languages, meeting people along the roadside. So for me, a wheeling trip is quite a strange thing to do. It turns out I've been stationary near the Whipsaw now for the last 6 months, and I figure while I'm this close, I'd be crazy not to give it a shot. A buddy from the Yukon contacted me and drove all the way down, and we met up last night and camped in a gravel pit before setting out to start what is Canada's most famous four-wheel drive trail. I don't exactly know what to expect or how technical this will get. I've watched a few videos of people doing it, and it does seem within my capabilities, but it's always hard to tell when you're only on 33-inch tyres and a mild lift, and everybody else is rolling around on 37-inch tyres. Jordan and I have had a few adventures together up in the Yukon, so no matter what happens, I'm sure we'll have a good time. As you can see, the start of the trail is nothing technical. I am in low range first gear, but that's just because it's such a sustained climb. We've actually been going for quite a few hours before we get to anything that's even worth getting out to have a look at before we drive it. So Jordan and I had a great day today on Whipsaw. We didn't actually make it very far because we're in no rush whatsoever, but you can see we found this amazing spot. We're down here by a lake. We've got the two Jeeps up here, obviously got the fire lit, probably gonna have smokies cooked on the fire for dinner. So yeah, Whipsaw, it's already been a little bit more technical than I was expecting. You know, I'm an overlander. I don't necessarily go out to go four-wheel driving, so but really happy to be back here, really happy to have found such a beautiful spot, and looking forward to what tomorrow brings. So time for a couple of smokies on the fire, and then maybe we'll get a bit of a sunset and some stars will come out tonight. So yeah, Whipsaw day one, it's been great. Almost right away in the morning, the trail is more technical. There's more rocks, and we're getting out to scout more often and choose our line. I wonder if this is a sign of things to All right, so I just winched Jordan up that rock step, no problem at all. Everything worked well. The GoPro just decided to stop recording, but I think we caught most of it. And that brings us to what's called Memorial Rock. This is a super famous little rock here that everyone likes to drive up. I mean, looking at it, this is kind of like stuff that I did in Moab before I went to Africa. And you know, could I drive up there with my lockers? Probably, yeah, the Jeep would drive up that. But you know, here we are, we're in the wilderness. This is my house. We're, you know, a long way from other people who could come and help us. I just have no interest in damaging the Jeep. And so in true Overlander fashion, the way that you deal with this rock is you drive around it whenever possible. So here is the drive around, much simpler, much more straightforward. So I'm thinking about if I was back in the Congo or if I was in Bolivia right now, if there was a rock like that to tackle, absolutely not. I'm going to drive around it every time. Same goes for a big mud pit, same goes for any kind of thing that may damage the vehicle. It's just not worth it. So today, I'm going to drive around it. Just a little, yep. Yep. Just slow and steady. Nothing, I think it was just the trailer slack on the pintle. Nothing hit. Your front tyres are over it, your back tyre's about to touch it. Just slow, good line. Back tyre's coming down it now. Perfect. You can straighten up a bit if you want. Yep. We've done a lot of climbing to this point, and finally we start breaking out of the thick trees into more alpine views. Far in the distance we see mountains, and it's difficult to keep our eyes on the trail rather than wandering around to the horizon. This place is absolutely beautiful, and we've picked a couple of stunning sunny days to explore. So there have been plenty of little spots like this where actually, I mean, it's good to spot each other. It would be, I mean, you'd probably get down it okay by yourself, but going up this, I don't know. I don't know what my Jeep would do. That pointy rock right there, it bugs me. It's really pointy. If it wasn't for that, I don't think this would be a problem. But yeah, that pointy rock is a thing. Let's see how Jordan goes with the trailer. And straight at it, and just slow, and just slow. Yep, it's good. Just slow. You're in that lip now, a bill straight. There, you're in the lip, it's good. You're in the lip, a little bit that way. It's perfect. There hasn't been a lot of water or mud on the trail, and we've been driving around the biggest of the mud pits. Though I couldn't help myself putting the GoPro on the front bumper to get driving through this one. That being said, just as we arrived at Wells Lake for lunch, Jordan decided to take a particular route across the small creek that feeds the lake. Needless to say, he got in a little deeper than he was expecting, but happily he made it through and I didn't have to climb in there and spool out his winch cable. When I drove through, I chose a different line, much steeper entry, but the water and mud wasn't nearly as deep. Here it is from the outside. You can see the water's not deep enough to be a concern. Immediately after lunch at the lake, we start climbing and climbing steeply. Things get really interesting on this section. I haven't already walked it to scout it, so I don't actually know what's coming. I'm in first gear low range with both diff locks on, and I kind of have no choice other than to keep going. My e-brake still hasn't been fixed, so I can't actually get out and leave the Jeep on a steep enough hill. I'm worried it will turn the engine over again, just like it did in Uganda. So for this whole stretch, I'm just trying to keep moving and picking my line as I go along. Somewhere along the way, I realise Jordan probably won't make it, but there isn't much I can do about it. All I can do is keep going, hoping that I'll eventually find a flat spot where I can park the Jeep. So I just came up the rock scramble that you saw, and now Jordan is stuck part way up. I'll show you what it looks like. It's pretty steep here. This is actually hard to walk on. I had front and rear lockers on, and it was a scramble fest for me. So it's not surprising that Jordan couldn't make it up with open diffs and pulling the trailer as well. So this is going to be pretty interesting. We've got a bit of a plan together. I'm going to winch him part way, and he has to stay inside with his foot on the brake. He can't actually get out of the driver's seat right now. The joys of a 6-speed transmission with a handbrake that isn't brilliant with a trailer behind. So yeah, I'll show you. This is where Jordan is, still in the driver's seat. He's going to wonder what took me so long. But here now, we'll see what happens. See if we can get this up the hill safely using Jordan's winch. That's the goal right now, because we don't want to bring my Jeep back down here. Maybe I could reverse down this, but there's no way I can drive forwards down it because I won't be able to reverse back up it. So for now, we're gonna try and see if Jordan can move under his own winch. All right, so we've just been back to the Jeep to get some tools. It turns out that Jordan's winch, the cable came free from the drum. So we have to reattach the cable to the drum before we can even start winching. We having fun, Jordan, or what?
No. This is why I like doing highway road trips and not wheeling.
This is definitely more than I bargained for. This is, and you can see Jordan's Jeep here. We put some rocks under the tires. It's in gear. The trailer brake is on. Let's not forget that.
Right.
Now, if we follow the directions here, spool wire rope onto drum in this direction. Does that mean we go under and come back up at it? I think it does. Certainly progress, which is on the way to success.
Well, we're not scrambling as to how we get your Jeep to recover my Jeep.
We hope.
Or how good can I back down the hill with the trailer?
All right, we're gonna try this. This is a pretty heavy pull on the winch. Don't know exactly what's gonna happen. We will find out. I'm gonna stand behind this tree. Alrighty, I'm good if you are. Oh yeah, it's good. Winch is doing its job. We already have forward motion, which is good. Slow and steady. Everything looks good. All right, while there's slack in the line, it's not dangerous for me to go here in front of it. So I will move my trusty Jeep mat just further along so it doesn't get sucked into the winch.
Let's unload this.
Yep.
And find a different tree.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, you're in a good spot to hold, I think. How does that feel?
Marginally better than before, but it doesn't feel good.
I could put the trailer brake on if you want.
No, it is what it is.
Okay.
So undo this shackle, start going up and all that, just let this out and you can pull her up until the big tree on the corner.
The one on the corner, yep.
On the left side of the trail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I'll come back, I'll put the mat on properly and then get out of the way again.
Okay.
Yep. We're not using free spool on the winch because it seems to want to kink this cable really badly. Obviously the downside of steel cable on a winch, not the greatest thing in the world, but it's getting the job done. I think we're going to get out of this as long as this cheapo winch doesn't crap out. So slow and steady progress here. Looks like Jordan's made a good dent in coming up towards this tree while I went to get a new GoPro battery. But so far so good. I mean, now that we've fixed the winch, I'm really happy that this is actually working. Oh, because we would have been in a lot of trouble if we couldn't get Jordan winch working again. I don't think I could have driven down this to help him in such a way that I'd be able to drive up again. So getting his winch was pretty important. Oh, but now it's just grunt work, I guess. I'm just running back and forward, resetting, and then pulling from different angles every time. But we're getting there. We've already, well, we've come maybe a quarter of what we need to come to get ourselves up this. She's definitely working hard, that winch. I'm gonna stand further back. Just slow and steady progress. It's what we wanted. That's what we're getting. From a different vantage point, still in the trees. I mean, we're just getting there slow and steady, which I guess is the goal of a winch. And this is where you see how valuable they are and how much difference it makes. There's just no way Jordan could drive up this with the trailer, but now the winch can just do all of the work and get it up. It's way up here this time. Oh, I'm gonna go back up here in the trees again. Wait a second. I think we're good. Yeah, head it. Oh, stand behind the trees. Jordan continues his progress. Oh, rinse and repeat. Definitely the winch is working hard now. I can hear it loaded. Yet another reset and re-pull. I'm just watching the trail here. It was on a bit of an angle. Make sure it doesn't tilt over and hit these trees, but I think it's fine. Yeah, slow and steady. The winch has definitely earned its money today. We've pulled 60 meters, maybe 180 feet. It could just as easily be me and you helping, so it's all good. Poor little Jeep Matt taking a beating, but that's all right. She looks good. That's what matters. I hope you guys can hear that. That is a lot of tension on that steel cable. That is the winch doing its thing. It's going mighty slow right there.
Yeah, that last pull, before I stopped it, my main battery voltage was down to 11.2.
I could hear the winch not making the same noises as it was. So yeah, keep your foot on the gas.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that tree for now. Yeah. So we'll come out. It's bad. That is not good at all. It's turned into a bit of a bird's nest. Let me have a look. Just turn right a fraction. Yeah, it's enough. Yep. You're gonna use that rock and climb up right next to it. Perfect. She's smoking. Yep. Hold it there. I'd say stop for a sec. That is what happens when you use your winch a lot. Right where the positive wire goes into the winch, it's actually smoking. I'd say the wires are like starting to melt. It's fine now, there's no smoke, so it's nearly no smoke.
Trail and that's it.
Even when it's under tension, it ends up with these big kinks in it, even on the drum.
Yeah.
It's...
Yeah, no, that's just how bad the cable is.
Yeah. All right, we've just started what we hope is the final winch pull here, the last 10 meters. This has taken over 2 hours, and you can hear the winch there really loading up. I guess Jordan's battery voltage is getting low from all this winching. This has been a bit of a thing. We'll get it. We don't know how much winching there is tomorrow, so we really hope his winch doesn't die. We need it. Already, har.
I can still smell that cable and winch burning.
It smells a bit.
So yeah, Dan, almost 2.5 hours.
How many times did I go up and down the hill?
8.
Oh, come on. 15? So it is 8 o'clock and we are still going. We're just trying to find a flat place to camp now since we got Jordan up that big hill. And this is the kind of thing that we're still dealing with. So it's not necessarily getting easier. Well, I have to say I'm happy we're going down this, not up it. I think if I just stay to the right, I'll be fine. But it's turned into a pretty long day, and I'm definitely ready to make camp. So, onwards. Well, good morning everyone. Jordan and I had an eventful night. We drove on until about 9:30, just trying to find a flat, decent place to camp. And we had no idea. We camped maybe like 500 meters that way in a clearing, and we had no idea we were this close to what's called Suicide Hill. So there's this famous kind of rock scramble over here, and then we've got a massive view over here into the mountains. It's a beautiful clear morning, but yeah, we're starting to get a bit exhausted. It's already been a long trip. You can see my clothes are pretty dirty. I'm starting to get a bit ragged. I spent the morning putting away recovery gear and tools, so I kind of hope I haven't jinxed myself. I don't want to have to get them out again if I don't have to. But yeah, I guess we're going to try and enjoy the rest of the trail, and we think from here everything's relatively straightforward, but now that I've said that out loud, let's wait and see what happens. So this is hopefully final day on the Whipsaw Trail. Day 3, we're taking our time, that's for sure, but it's been a lot more than we expected. Yesterday was a monster day, and here we go. Hopefully we finish today. Just as we thought, the trail from this point got a lot easier, and I even used third gear for the first time in a couple of days. So we kept crawling along slow and steady, and after a few small water crossings, we finally broke out and reached the end of the Whipsaw Trail. So no doubt about it, it was definitely more technical than I was expecting, but we made it through unscathed without a single piece of damage to either Jeep. If you've ever thought about running the Whipsaw Trail in British Columbia, Canada, I can highly recommend it. You will not forget it. Will I be back? Yeah, I think so.